Lots to cover in the sport of boxing. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Little vacation, some time away. Went to the beach. I did my thing, but I'm back and better than ever. Lots to cover in this video. Typically, I like to do one fighter or one fight or one story, but there's a lot going on in the sport of boxing. A lot that I haven't addressed. So let's get right into the content. Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin is officially been ordered for November or December by the WBC. The vacant belt, or champion in recess, Devin Haney, vacant belt, whatever you want to call it, but that's the belt that's on the line. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Shout out to Frank Martin. I will be breaking that fight down the way that I do. You guys know how I get down. Great fight. It's important to note Isak Pitbull Cruz was given the opportunity to accept the fight with Shakur Stevenson. To accept that fight with Shakur Stevenson, this is the second time I think that he's officially gone a different direction. I guess it's more understandable because it is rumored that, as pictured here on the screen, Gervonta Tank Davis, Isak Pitbull Cruz rematch could be in the works. And that's a big fight. It's a big money fight. Obviously, it's not going to be for a belt, but if you have the opportunity to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, who is the cash cow in the sport of boxing right now, you take that opportunity. It was a compelling fight. Can't wait to break that fight down. But early prediction, full disclosure, I think that Pitbull Cruz, Gervonta Tank Davis, if they fight again, that fight's not really competitive. It'll be exciting, but Tank Davis is really too good. I don't have any shame in saying that. Feel free to leave a comment in the video. But going back to Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin, that's a great fight. I would heavily favor Shakur Stevenson in that bout. That's no shade at Frank Martin. He's a tremendous fighter. He does his thing. I like his style. He's fast and has fast hands and feet. Explosive. He's very athletic. And when he lets his hands go, he's a very difficult fighter to beat. He got in trouble in his last bout. Figured out a way towards the end of the fight to get it done, but was a little gun shy in there. Great job by Derrick James, really lighting a fire under his butt. Say, hey, you got to let your hands go, put pressure on this guy, and start landing some shots, or we're going to be looking at a precarious situation. You don't want this to go to the judges. So shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Shout out to Frank Martin. There was another fighter that, Vasyl Lomachenko. Shout out to Vasyl Lomachenko. He was also provided the opportunity to possibly fight for this belt, as Devin Haney is the champion in recess. That was his last outing against Devin Haney, and he opted not to take the fight with Shakur Stevenson. And quite honestly, I don't really blame guys. I would favor him to beat Lomachenko. Love Lomachenko, but I rate Shakur Stevenson very, very high in the application of the sport of boxing. I would favor him to beat Lomachenko. I would favor him to beat Isak Cruz easy. The only fights that I think are compelling for Shakur Stevenson are a Tank Davis and a Devin Haney. And I've said this before, I think that Tank Davis beats Devin Haney, but I think Shakur beats both of them. Hopefully we get to see those fights. But moving right along, as we also know, Gervonta Tank Davis, he did a little stint, a little jail time for him. He's gotten out. I've already mentioned that it's rumored that he could be facing Isak Pitbull Cruz. Good fight, like the fight, PBC fight, in-house, easy to make. It'll generate a lot of revenue because that's what Tank Davis does. It's just about getting everything sorted out. I think that makes sense for the most part. It's a money grab. Like I said, I don't think the fight, Isak Cruz, in my opinion, didn't look great in his outing against Cabrera. You guys should check that out. He landed some big shots, but when Cabrera was boxing, he looked pretty good. I don't know why he decided to let Isak Cruz, with no jab or no lead hand action, into the inside and then get hit with bombs over the top. That was a dumbass game plan. He looked good early and then just kind of got clipped up a little bit. But anyway, Isak Cruz didn't look that great in his last outing. It would still be a compelling fight. People are going to check for that. But when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, if we do get the Isak Pitbull Cruz fight, let's assume that he wins that bout. I would like to see him start to move on towards guys that are more compelling, more competitive. Just from a boxing fan perspective, yeah, I want to see him fight Devin Haney. I want to see him fight Shakur. I want to see him, fight a Teofimo Lopez if they can get that done at 140 or something along those lines. I want to see those fights. Those are good, compelling fights. They will sell. It's Tank Davis, so that's a given. And one of the things that's obviously sensational about him is when he goes out there, he can box. He's slick. He has above average defense. He has a lot of versatility, but he knocks guys out. He's either knocking you out cold or making you be like Hector Luis Garcia, where you say, I can't see, you got hitting the nugget so viciously, you talk about what you can't see. So that's what Gervonta Tank Davis brings to the table. Excitement, an exciting style, and knockouts. This is why he's in the position that he's in now, to continue to command such a presence and run up ticket prices and break gate records and all sorts of things. That's Gervonta Tank Davis. Last but not least, for this quick video, little overhead video, definitely more to come. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is the Punch Report. Last but not least, you see picture there, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Bud Crawford. A lot of stuff has happened since their bout, 4 weeks ago now? I believe it's 4 weeks ago now. The rematch clause has been triggered, so shout out to Errol Spence and team. There's been a lot of conversation now that we're so far removed from the fight about what kind of condition Errol Spence was in going into this bout. If it wasn't a good condition, shame on them. Bud Crawford is an absolute animal, and you have to be at your best to compete against a guy like Terrence Bud Crawford. I don't know anybody from that camp. I haven't had any conversations, but just looking at things this far removed, there were some preparatory mistakes that were made on the half of Team Spence. I've said this in videos before, but I want to say it again. If you made it this far, you definitely a real one. But I think this is important to state. Errol Spence Jr. prepared to do what Errol Spence Jr. does. Terrence Bud Crawford prepared to beat Errol Spence Jr. And I think that was evident. That was very, very evident. Bud Crawford fought in a way that I hadn't seen him fight, or hadn't seen him fight since 130 pounds. And even then, he was so much more polished now because he had busy feet at 130 and 135. Now he's so much more settled in his position. He knows how to operate within that squared circle at a really, really high rate, especially with his movement, his footwork, not wasting motion, and making sure that he's operating within range perfectly, pretty much at all times. Sometimes he's gotten in trouble before, but for this particular bout, they took Errol Spence Jr. very serious and prepared for every possible tool that Errol may deploy, and even went as far as to make sure that some of that stuff never really got off the ground. But now we have this situation or scenario, and I'm going to go back to Errol and Bud here in a second. Brian McIntyre, he's been detained. I believe he's in the UK. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, it reads that he's going to remain detained until October 9th, his first court date, for 2 weapons charges. I think they said that he had a firearm and firearm ammunition, and he checked baggage. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not the best idea. I don't know what the rules are out there, but there's probably some declaration form you got to get sorted out, appropriate locks, separation of ammunition and firearms, that kind of deal. It sounds like he kind of violated on that. And then you have the rumors, unfounded rumors, might I add, of a separation between Errol Spence Jr. and Derrick James. Now, I want to say, I just hope that that's not true. They've been at this for a super long time. They've had a lot of success, and I think losing is not the thing that we make it as boxing or combat sports fans. Yeah, you can lose bad or get knocked out in a round or look crazy, but it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to reassess your approach and preparation and start making different plans about how we do business, and not just about Bud Crawford if you're Errol, about your preparation as a whole. Terrence Bud Crawford has put Errol Spence Jr. in a position where he has to evaluate how I do business, what coaches I have in my camp, how we handle nutrition, how we handle strength and conditioning. It opens the window about maybe I did stay at 47 too long, I should have been at 54, whatever the case may be. Bud Crawford has provided Errol Spence Jr. the opportunity to assess what he needs to be doing moving forward if he continues to fight, which I think that he should. Unless I see or hear something crazy, you know, you lost one fight to a great fighter. Yeah, you lost bad, but if your health has not been severely compromised or compromised at all, I think you should continue to pursue the sport of boxing. Derrick James, Errol Spence Jr., you just make the adjustments. I don't think this is one of the scenarios where a trainer and a fighter, both great trainer and great fighter, need to go their separate ways because you were bested by a tremendous pound-for-pound generational great. That's what Bud Crawford is. And I feel like there is opportunity for Errol to have success in the rematch. I'm not going to go as far as to say to get a victory, but we could see something more or better. So my hope overall is that the rumors of them going their separate ways are just rumors. As far as Bomac's concerned, man, I hope he all right, you know, because I'm going to get locked up in another country for gun charges. Now, I don't know the rules out there, but This has been my time. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Let me know your thoughts on Shakur, Frank Martin, Tank Davis possibly gets Isak Pitbull Cruz, Errol Spence, Bud Crawford. We know we have the rematch that's been initiated. Will it be at 54? Will it be at 47? No dates, no times, no venues, but we do know that it's likely we will get Bud Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. again. And the status of the trainers of these famed fighters, Derek James, Brian McIntyre, Bo Mack, he locked up, and Derek James and Errol Spence Jr. possibly going their separate ways. Unfounded rumor, but that's what's floating around out there. Let me know what you think. We out.